I'm so fucking excited. And when you walked in here, you almost said the exact thing, which, like, I thought about it. It came out of nowhere. I was going to bed the other night, and I was
so mad that you're stealing it for yours.
oh, my God. I mean, you can share it on yours, too. Okay. I just feel there needs to be context, backstory. Yes. And I have questions for you because I'm not sure if my backstory is correct. You went to Lawrenceville, a boarding school in New Jersey that I did not get into twice, but whatever.
Oh, my God. I was going to ask why you didn't go there.
I applied for freshman year, like from middle school.
Because your older sister was there with me.
I got rejected. Fine, whatever. I'm young for my grade. Okay. So then my mom was like, would you want to try and repeat your freshman year for sports? It could be helpful. And, like, I wasn't that great academically.
Very common at boarding school.
Very common at boarding school. And I was like, you know what? Sure. Applied again to repeat my freshman year. Got deferred or waitlisted. And I was like, Mom, you know what? I'm done. If they don't want me, I don't want them. Yes. So we pulled. And I'm so grateful.
Did you actually have the self-awareness when you were 14 of if they don't want me, I don't want me? Or were they?
I said, we're done. Like, it was more my mom wanted me to go there than me, quite honestly. Like, if it was something I had really wanted, I think I would have been heartbroken. Yeah. I was kind of just like, okay, whatever.
Your mom was also seeing Maddie, your older sister, who is my friend, have this fabulous experience.
Absolutely. But then.
And so that's why she. Yeah. Like, she wasn't. Yeah.
But you know what? I'm such a believer in, like, it all makes sense in the end. I wouldn't have met Joe.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yes.
So. Okay. Like, that's literally the reason.
I do the exact same thing. So from Lawrenceville, which is a boarding school in New Jersey, where Cammie lives. It's 10 minutes from Princeton, New Jersey, where Cammie grew up. Cammie, I'm the only person who still calls you Cammie.
No, people do.
I've known you since you were a tot. Lawrenceville is this, like, fabulous boarding school, top 10 boarding school in the country, whatever.
Basically college.
Everyone goes to Harvard and Yale and Dartmouth and and so that's what I thought that I needed to do, even though I didn't have A's. I didn't even have all B's, but, like, I was like, oh, everyone goes to. So I applied first. What is it called? Like first
early
decision to, like, Middlebury. Didn't even get like a just like
I was looking too
hard pass from Middlebury. So then I applied to, like, all these NESCAC schools, Colby and Colgate and da. Didn't get into any of them. And so then finally I settle on my state school. I'm from North Carolina, so UNC was still in state, which, by the way, UNC is impossible to get into.
And such a great school.
Such a great school. And to me, it was like the last, I was like, I felt like such a loser. Like, at, graduation, they read off, like, when you cross the stage, I think they read where you're going to college.
Which is so
and it was like, Lily Wick, my best friend, Lily Wick, Johns Hopkins, Nellie Morris, Princeton. Caroline
Maddie,
Chambers.
Columbia.
Yeah, Maddie. Yeah. Like, and then Caroline Chambers, University of North Carolina. And I was like,
but, like, it's such a good school.
But to your point about Joe, I was like, I'm going to go for 1 year. I'm going to transfer to Middlebury or wherever, the good school. And I never would have met Joe. I'm George. Never would have met Joe. Never would have met Joe. I never would have met my husband, George, who I met the last semester of my freshman year. I was, like, applying to other schools.
And is that why you were like, no, I'm not going?
Got to stay.
Yeah.
I'm into this guy.
Well, like, it all makes sense in the end. And I hate that, like, it all happens for a reason. But I do think it all makes sense in the end.
Yes.
Right now I'm living with one. This is not as intense, but we've been dealing with building this fucking garage in our backyard.
You sure have.
Since we moved in.
You sure have.
It was 9 months of permits. And you better believe every week I was calling the permit office, like, what is the status? Dealing with our contractor, etc. It was supposed to be done. We moved in January. In March. And then I was like, okay, guys, it needs to be done by the summer.
It's
not done. But now I had no clue our entire backyard was going to be completely dug up. Who knows what they were doing back there? I still don't understand why our entire backyard is a hole.
Whole thing. Why?
No idea. But thank God it's happening during the winter and not summer. In our first summer in the house with a dog and a toddler.
You'd be going ballistic.
You already are. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Yeah, of course it's happening right now because I don't need my backyard.
Yes.
So anyway, I did not get into Lawrenceville.
You did not get into Lawrenceville.
And I am very grateful. Not only did I meet Joe, but, like, I mean, Maddie will tell you, like, her senior year, my freshman year, we beat them in lacrosse, prep semis. It was a big, like, a whole family thing. Yeah.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. It was her last game. Wait, do you not know this story?
I don't remember this or know this.
Maddie was so on her fucking high horse.
Hold on. We have to give back. You guys are both sick lacrosse players.
Oh, thank you.
You were perhaps a little sicker because you ended up playing D1. Or
so did she.
She
we
did?
both played D1. She played at Columbia.
The whole time? She quit. Okay.
But she was a senior. I was a freshman. And all season, we were undefeated. And she was like, you guys don't even play that good of teams. Like, you're not in the same. We were playing different teams because you're in the boarding school league.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. You know, we'll see. And we ended up beating them. So it was her last high school game. And there's a photo that my dad was like into taking pictures at our games, I guess, which is very off-brand.
Love that.
And there's a picture of her in the huddle after the game, just like never looked so angry in her life, pissed, and me smiling like I just won the goddamn lottery. And you know what I did?
Because you did.
I put those 2 photos on top of each other and made it the background of every computer in our house. Printed it out, put it on mugs. Like I put it, and you know how you used to have those.
Sorry, how old are you at this point?
15.
Just vindictive.
Like, you bitch, what, you thought you were going to beat us? Okay. I'll show you.
God, that's so good.
So intense.
You made a mug?
Like, you know how those travel, like, not Stanleys, but like coffee tumblers, and you used to be able to like put a piece of paper in it?
Exactly.
I printed it out and I did that.
Of course you did.
Every background of every computer.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So we still talk about that. Anyway.
That is a fabulous sister story. Were you guys like buddies at this point, or
very
were you
close?
Okay.
Then we went through a like kind of hated each other, couldn't be in the same room when she was in college and I was later in high school, and then now very close.
It's really, I have an older sister and a younger brother. And my sister and I have similarly, now that we have kids, we're the best friends we've ever been.
Yeah.
Like we understand each
so
other
much.
better than we ever have. We used to have a thing where we like would get a little twitchy around each other. We both went to boarding school. So since age 13 and a half, 14, we've not lived in the same house, which is a wild sister dynamic. But we used to really get at each other's throats. And now there's nothing to get at. We just are like, we are in this together.
It's so much better once you're older.
Everything's better in your 30s.
Yes. So my question for you is, my memory is Maddie was a day student at Lawrenceville, and most of you were boarders. And my mom would host these like Sunday dinners. Were you included in that group? Yeah, right?
Yeah. So Maddie's a year older, and she had like an incredible group of friends that I was also in, and she was in my house at Lawrenceville. Kirby. So at Lawrenceville, they're dorms, but we call them houses, and they very much operate like a house. Like you have a housemaster who's like the mother of the house, and the day students have this room in the bottom. I've recently learned that at a lot of boarding schools, day students don't belong to the dorms. They have like a day student,
which makes more sense.
Dorm. It does make more sense, but then you don't
merge.
So like I have some day student friends as an adult now who went to other boarding schools, and they like didn't have boarder friends, which sucks because Maddie's friends very much were boarders,
all boarders,
which is why your mom would host these dinners. So it was mostly her older friends, but yes, I would get invited. And I also was my best friend Nellie. Y'all's families are really good friends. Like the Morrises all came to your campy wedding, which is the coolest wedding ever.
Thank you.
The Morrises all went to that, so I would always get invited. Your mom is a fabulous party planner, and I like lived with the Morrises for a period of time. So I went to y'all's house for everything. Doesn't she have like an epic Christmas party with a tent?
Yeah.
That was like one of the drunkest I think I've ever been in my life.
No, the drunkest you've ever been, which is what I thought about the other night, is at Logan Morris's, so the older sister of this family.
Also a tent.
Her wedding was in their backyard, a tent, and I just remember. I don't remember what year that was. I think I had just graduated college.
I had just gotten married.
So what year did you get married?
It must have been like 2013 because I know George was in a war somewhere.
Yeah, I just graduated in 2013.
It was 2013.
And Joe was not invited. So I was like hanging out with all the girls. And
I think we were at the same table.
We were at the same table. Next thing I know, we are behind the tent, and I'm shoving my finger down your throat to help you throw up.
I'm like, Hammy.
You're like, just help me hold my finger down.
I have this pennies. What do I do? And you were like, you boot and rally. And I was like, I what? And you were like, did you go to college? I was like, I did go to college. What does it mean to boot and rally? I was
like, stick your fingers down.
I was like, how? And you were like, sure. Like some friends like teach their friends how to put a tampon in for the first time. You taught me how to boot and rally for the first time.
Which is so funny,
a life skill.
I mean, I don't even drink anymore, but I was like, shove your finger down your throat.
I don't know how. Okay, I'll do it for you.
No, literally, my finger was down your throat.
Down my throat.
I was like, we're not leaving this
and
wedding.
Guess what? I had a great night.
Oh my god.
Because I did indeed boot and
Okay,
rally.
so that's my memory.
That
and that was, I think, when we bonded. the
Oh,
most.
100%.
Because
yes.
before that, I was so much younger than you guys. Not that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
only 2 years.
But this was like you were a better drinker than I am. We are now on the same
now we're
level.
on the same level.
We are now on the same level.
Okay.
No, on the way here, I was talking to my friend Lily, who I'm staying with in New York, about you and
Yeah.
about this. And she was like, oh my God, I love Cammie. You've got to bring up the time that she taught you how to boot and rally. And I was like, I had completely forgotten about that. I walked in here and you were like, you know what we have to talk about.
No, it was the first thing I wanted to say. Okay, but the thing
memories.
the best part about all of this, which I also think
Yes.
about a lot, is so then we're just like kind of, friendly, but we're not like keeping in touch.
Yeah.
You reached out to me during 2020 because I remember it was COVID.
I remember where I was.
Same. I remember where I was. In my
Funny.
parents, it was at their table in their bedroom, which is so random.
Okay, that's funny that it was such a
big
memorable for
moment.
you.
Yeah.
That's really
And I
nice.
remember you being like, I wrote a cookbook, which I have, Newlyweds.
Uh-huh.
And I have 2 copies. I have a signed version from the Morrises for my wedding. And I was like, you said,
They were
I
really
wrote a
good at that.
cookbook. I really want to write another one. But in today's day and age, the literary agents are like, you don't have a following, work on that first. So you came to me and you were like, I hear you're doing this social media thing. And I tried to like give advice. And I think the funniest thing is now you are killing it. And I'm like, Caroline, teach me.
No, shut up. That is so completely not true. But yes, I called you and you I DM'd you or I had texted you. I have
texted
your
me,
phone
yeah.
number. Cammie Linville. It's a picture of you. I love how you can tell how long you've been friends with somebody.
Yes.
Facebook used to like pull in the picture for it's like a picture of you and Joe like hammered in college is your profile picture for me. And I'm never changing
That's
it.
amazing.
Cammie Linville. And I called you and I was like, I have no idea how to do this. And you, at that point, were just like posting stories all the time. You looked so confident. And this was, I think, the hardest thing to becoming like I'm trying to call myself a creator more.
You are.
Because influencer makes me want to gag.
The reason I don't like the word influencer is because it makes me feel like I think I'm better than
Yes.
anyone, and I definitely
and that
do
my
not.
job is to influence you.
Right. And also the reality is I think anyone in the world could do this job. Whether they want to or
Oh.
not, I don't know. But anyone could do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
People sometimes will, we're getting off track, but people will message me and be like, I really want to, become an influencer. I want to do this, but I don't think I have the personality for it. And I'm like, everyone in the world has someone who your personality will appeal
Yeah.
to.
We're going to have different followings.
We're gonna
but,
have
like,
different
you'll appeal to
followings.
someone.
If you consider yourself like really weird and all you like to do is knit with your cats all day, you have a following.
Absolutely.
There are people who all they want to do is that, or they'll just find that attractive and like because it's so
Interesting.
different from
Yeah.
them. So yes. So anyway, I called you and you were so giving with your time, and I will never forget that. I mean,
Wow,
I
thank
literally
you.
had 2,000 followers at the time. I had never put my face on a story, and you were like, you talked to me for like an hour. It was COVID, so I remember I was pushing Mattis, who was like a year old at the time. I'm here for his 5th birthday now. I was pushing him like through the streets of my neighborhood, like probably with a fucking mask on, and you just rattled off like what to do. And you kept saying like, I have no idea, but this is what I've done. Like, I have no idea, but this is what I've done. Like, you were like, just literally be yourself. You were like, you're a fun, cool person.
But that's why
just chat.
you've done so incredibly well is because I think you have stuck so true to yourself and you're just like, yep, let's have fun,
Yeah.
which is my type of content that I like to
Totally.
consume.
Yes.
And also just the only way that I'm able to show up
Yes.
for my job, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to.
Maybe the reason that I am so open about like literally everything so TMI is because you were my no, I was your protege.
Well, I mean, I don't believe in TMI, which maybe I should.
There's no who cares?
No.
Except for art.
Nope, he's not on social media. It's the best thing in the entire
You
world.
knew exactly what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
George created a burner account
To watch
my stories. He's like, it's the only way I see the kids during the day. I'm like, I'll send you pictures. Please delete your
Right.
social media account.
The only thing that's happened is like in years, like some of his friends will screenshot and send to him, and I eventually started texting them and be like, stop, mind your fucking business.
Yeah.
You can watch my stuff. I don't care.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah, stop sending it to Joe.
What the fuck is your problem?
But yeah,
Sending
he's not
it to
on
Joe.
it, thank God.
It's none of his business.
But one thing I love that I really want to talk to you about is your concept of raising your first, like your third. And I was a very anxious, controlling, obsessive first-time mom,
as
most of us are.
Most of us are.
And it's so eye-opening to go through it a second time, where, like, for instance, my baby just doesn't sleep. And I'm like, He'll figure it out.
He will sleep.
And Joe was texting me yesterday because he was with him when I was out, and he was like, I don't really know what else we can be doing. And I responded, I was like, we're doing all we can. We're amazing parents.
Yeah.
That's kind of the only answer. And he's like, you're right.
That kind of wisdom that a new mom
but I would never,
doesn't get to have.
Never.
It's so unfair.
It's so unfair. And I have a lot of friends right now who just had their second. So it's so great to like talk about this. But then I have a lot of my college friends who just had their first. And they're calling me being like, what about this week window? What about this? What about this? What if she did this, what should I do? And I'm like, I just want to hug you and be like, I swear it doesn't matter. I swear.
Go.
But I also know that it's an experience that like we kind of have to go through.
Yes.
I don't know what the answer is. So tell us about how you
okay,
raise
so
a
first,
third.
how to raise your first like it's your third. Actually started as how to raise your first like it's your second. It's just that now I have 3 kids, so it has gone up a child. And I, like you, was a really anxious and controlling mother, and that is so against my personality. Like, I am a type Z.
Oh, it's in line with mine.
Because we'll talk about that. One thing that you like love the schedule and stuff still, where I am like, fuck the schedule. Like, there is no schedule. The baby goes to sleep when it's tired. And so I think there are ways to release the control while you're also still being true to who you are as a, like,
yes.
I want a schedule because I want to know that at 12 o'clock I get to go to lunch with my friends.
And that's what I
up.
found, I think, this time around. If he slept, it'd be nicer. But yeah.
Right. So it started because with Mattis, you've never done this before. And I was one of the first of my friends to have kids. I had a lot of older cousins who have had kids, and they all were already on their third, and I think their second or their third. And I think, quite frankly, they had forgotten by this point the stress and anxiety that comes with the first. Yeah. I remember my cousin Lexi came to visit when Mattis was like 7 days old, and I like looked at her and I was like, did you just think about them dying all the time?
All the time.
And she was like, huh? And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm a freak.
No, all the time. All I thought about.
Freak. And I was like, like when they're asleep, do you just like check their breathing all night long? And at this point I had the owlet.
Oh, I never got it because I think it would have.
How did you know not to get it? Okay, the owlet, if you're unfamiliar, is a heart rate monitor.
Yeah.
It's a sock you put on the baby's foot. It's a heart rate monitor. Some mothers love it because they're like, I know that baby's alive. For me, I felt like if I didn't constantly watch it and like it would slip off and it would sound this alarm, like,
no, that's why I didn't do it.
I mean, it was like, it like haunts my dreams. Nighttime was terrifying. And so Lexi came, and I would ask other friends who had all had older babies, and they were all like, oh, yeah, like, that's kind of normal. That's kind of normal. And I basically just spent the first year of Mattis's life being, like, a complete control freak, which is not who I am, sticking to this sleep schedule. Like, he would finally get to sleep 30 minutes late because he wasn't tired when I put him to bed because I was putting him on some, like, random schedule that the internet told me to. He would finally get to sleep. In 45 minutes, I would wake him up from his nap. And so then he would be cranky. Right. Because he was tired because I had woken him up from the shitty nap. And it was just a wild, like, year of that.
I just think about the obsessiveness of the apps. Like, this new app, like, looking at everything. Being like, well, how much did he sleep last night? And, like, oh, my God, yeah.
The Owlet app was also connected to a camera. And, I mean, I felt like if I didn't watch it all night long, that's when he would surely die.
Yeah.
How? What?
Somehow.
What did I think? So we moved houses. We bought our first house when Mattis was like 11 months old. We moved in on his first birthday, and our Wi-Fi wasn't connected for a few days. And these cameras are Wi-Fi enabled. And so I couldn't turn it on. And his room was just like at the old house, directly beside ours. And what you realize is, oh, you can hear them through the walls. And so you don't hear all the little like all night long that kept you up through the monitor. And so I was like, wait, I don't think we need a monitor. And so like we've literally not used a monitor since Mattis was 11 months old. We've never used a monitor with any child. And I realized like, oh, that is a complete game changer. I'm not up all night long listening to every little beep. I'm not checking it. And like something about that separation, I just needed like a few days off of it, made me realize I didn't need that. All of a sudden I was like actually sleeping through the night, And then you have your second kid and nothing can be as perfect and controlled.
You just can't.
And it's also just not as scary. And this is what sucks about trying to give your first time mom friend advice. Nothing you tell them.
Nothing.
My friend Lily, again, who I'm staying here with right now, and I were talking about this last night. Like, I told her, she's like my ride or die. Like, She knew every single detail of every single bit of anxiety that I ever had. And at the time, she had no kids. So she could very sanely, and she's also like a very therapized friend. Like she has a great therapist, and so she just therapizes me.
My friend jokes that I'm her therapist. I'm like, I'm just going to pay you my
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
just going to send you my bill.
Like it's like a symbiote.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Llewellyn is basically my therapist also. So she would like therapy me about it. Like, you know, what's the worst thing, CB, like what's the worst thing that could possibly happen if he sleeps 5 minutes past his nap? And I'd be like, like literally nothing. Okay, so I was sure Lily was going to have 0 postpartum anxiety because I was like, I fixed you. Like I first like a thirded you, like you will be perfect. And she was like, you told me everything you possibly could, and still every single night I was sure he was gonna
you can't
suffocate on his hand. Like we'll still see her. We'll be out at dinner, and I'll still see her. He's only 11 months old. I'll still see her looking at the monitor, like while we're out at dinner, and I'm like, swipe her phone. She's like, sorry. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm like trying to control you, because it's just what you do.
That's what's so
It's
hard is what I've been trying to say to my friends, because it's like I can share with you so many times that like the baby's going to be okay. Like you stepping outside to go for a walk, it's good for you. So good for you. They have to, not have to, but unfortunately it's like this learned experience that then with your second you have a confidence.
Yes.
That you didn't have with the first.
It's literally on the job training.
Truly.
Of course you're nervous on your first day on the job. Like you've never done this before. You have a brand new boss.
Right.
They're like mean and scary, and they yell at you all the time, and you don't really know how to make them happy.
So temperamental. Like you have no idea what you're going to get.
Temperamental. They shit their pants all the time, and like your job is
throw up all over you. And
then a year in, you know exactly how to make them happy, and and you also know like if they cry about that one thing, it's actually fine. Like, you can just leave them to cry, and that is something that you can't teach. I do think having a friend who's already had a baby who will like truly tell you the nitty gritty down and dirty, and that's why you and I both on our Instagrams and whatever are so honest about it, because it does help. And I'm sure you also get messages from women that are like, thank you so much for saying this. This has helped me relax so much. Like I get my biggest content request. Like I'm a food creator who also talks about motherhood, and it's kind of shifting more to talking about more motherhood stuff, because that's what people ask me for. They're like, more first, like a third tips, please. More first, like a third tips, please. Like I now never even try to put socks on my baby, because like what's the point? And like I never feel guilt about it anymore. And I'll get pictures of babies like at restaurants, and they're like, I never would have done this with my first. Like it's way past bedtime, and like sure enough he's fine, thank you. And like that rocks. That feels so good.
There was a line, and I can never quote it correctly. It's like, first time, only child babies are wasted on first time parents. Not only child babies, but it's like, because you don't realize how easy it is with one until you have a second.
Yeah. Oh.
But you can't enjoy that one because you're so anxious because it's your first. Like imagine if you had that second child, but you only had that second child. Do you know what I mean?
Like if you actually got to raise your first like a third.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Like you can't. You can try to do things, but like you can't fully. I think about that all the time because I'm so much calmer with our second. And we have a schedule, but it's like his nap. The reality is, for instance, on today, Joe's alone with them this morning, or like the day he goes into the office, I'm alone with him in the morning. Like his nap is in his car seat. We're taking our toddler into school, out of school. Like he's getting in and out of the car. His nap is in and out of that window, and he's never sleeping for the full thing. The first time parent in me, not a goddamn chance in hell.
Never. Your entire day would have revolved around making sure that he got his perfect in a crib nap.
So like the reality is you're forced into this, but then I was thinking, imagine how freeing it would be. Because once I had a baby, I was like, babies are so easy. Babies are so easy.
I think about it all the time. I thought Mattis was so hard. He was a dreamboat. Also, I was hard.
Yes. My first was an angel.
Oh, yeah.
Angel. Like the ones you read about, slept 12 hours at 12 weeks. It was not normal.
Yeah.
I'm now realizing.
Yeah, you're not realizing.
Yeah, God.
Rats. But how nice that that's your second one, because you're like, he's going to sleep eventually.
Yeah. Well, you know what sick fuckery the universe is? Last night was the second time ever he slept through the night. No idea why. We didn't do anything. Like, it's just, and that's what I've kind of figured out. The old me would have been like, what did we do last night? Repeat tracking every step.
What did he eat?
Everything we did. Yeah.
What did I say to him?
I'm like, Lizzie and Garrett, you're coming over every night for Sunday night dinner.
What song did I sing to him before bed?
So it just happened.
It was like
Yeah.
a forensic scientist trying
Absolutely.
to figure out exactly every single
And
move.
Joe and I have been splitting up nights, so each of us have monitors. So I don't like it. We're sleeping
Do you sleep
different
in the
beds.
same? Okay,
No.
yeah.
But and it sucks. Like
Huge
peak roommate phase.
moment
but
in time.
it allows each of us to sleep through the night every other night. I'm going away on a mom's trip today for 2 nights, so I know that
In New York?
No, well, Hudson Valley. I know that Joe is going to be with both of them for 2 nights, so I was like, you know what? I'll take both monitors. Last night, a baby sleeps through the night. I'm like, absolute. Are you kidding? This is a godsend. You know who was
Let
up
me
from
guess.
12 to 3?
Let me take a little
demanding
guess.
I sleep on the ground with my pillow and my comforter
Let me
next
take
to
one
him.
little guess.
I'm like, are you?
Thank you, sir.
fucking kidding? If it's not one, it's the other, and if it's not one, it's both.
So I hate that. There's nothing more annoying than the "you just wait"
I know.
thing. Like when I talk about anything with my children,
Hate you just wait. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
I hate the teenage "you just wait" moms. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I know he's not gonna talk to me when he's 14.
Well,
I know, like
yeah.
whenever you say anything about like, oh, he's my 3-year-old's really demanding my attention. You're gonna
Just wait
you
until
just
they don't
wait
want-
until
yeah.
they don't want to talk to. I'm like, I don't want to just wait till that. I want to just live right here. My 3-year-old, like genuinely, I don't think George and I have slept in the same bed alone in like 3 months. My 3-year-old crawls into bed with us at 4 a.m. every single morning. He's so fucking cute.
It's so hard to say no.
That we don't care. And he also is a topless guy, so like he's PJ bottoms only, and he has this like chubby body, and so like we fight over who gets to hold him.
Right.
But it's also ridiculous, and like we don't sleep as well because something is interrupting
Yes.
your sleep at 4 in the morning. But yeah, no, the baby, oh, forget it. Like people talk about baby sleep as like the hardest thing. Like, oh, they're up all night. No, wait until they turn. You just wait.
The toddler.
You just wait until the toddler.
Well, you know what's harder is that the toddler like tries to negotiate. I'm like, honey, please, it's the middle of the night. You need to go to sleep. I just want you to lay. Please, 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 just lay down with me. I just need to hold your hand, mommy. I'm like, I cannot say no to that.
Because you're a human being asking me for your need.
Right.
Whereas, and this is when I'm glad that podcasts don't have like comments, because some people are hardcore. My baby, like, never let a baby cry. Sleep training talk.
Yeah.
A baby, I personally have done my own research, and I do believe that a baby can cry. And so, like, if my baby woke up at 3 in the morning and started crying,
See,
they
like,
would just cry.
I have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
I go in every time.
Every time. What
Every
do
time.
you do?
Caroline, I don't fucking sleep. I don't
pick it up?
I go in. No, I don't pick him up. I don't pick him up
You do the
because he
baby
doesn't
tap.
need to be picked up right now.
Yeah.
Like if he really is
Right.
during his naps, most of the time I have to contact nap for the second half, which like
Another first, like a third, like, how lovely.
lovely. Are
Love
there
a
things I
contact
need to
nap.
do? Absolutely, but like
They'll
I
wait.
know that the days
Yes.
these moments are fleeting.
Yes.
So no, overnight he doesn't need to be picked up for the most part. He just needs like to be rocked back a little bit down, which like
Okay.
I do with my hand. Like I simulate the snoo,
The
but he
snoo.
doesn't like the snoo, so the snoo's off. So I basically am a
Lovely.
virtual snoo.
Humans do. That's what I always call myself.
Or
Humans
putting
know.
his pacifier in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Corking him.
Yeah,
Yeah, corking him and humans doing him. Yeah, okay. That's fabulous.
but I have no judgment. Like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
someone
yeah.
that's like, you do whatever the fuck works for you.
Yeah. That's fabulous. Do that. There was an Emily Oster study, who is my Bible.
Yeah.
And I think basically you can. The great thing about Emily Oster is you can interpret her data to meet whatever you want
Yes.
it to. So you could read this exact same article and be like, oh, good, what I'm doing is right. But the way I interpreted it was, if you do the full, like, see ya in the morning, I'm closing your door and I will see you in the morning method, that they overall cry less. Because I bet when you're doing the human snoo, does he keep crying for like 5 minutes sometimes, or does he hush right away?
So the interesting thing about my
Mm-hmm.
baby is he is soothed right away back to bed.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
So
like-
when I would soothe my babies that way, they would keep crying for 10 minutes. So I'd be human snooing.
No. He's like,
and they'd just be like, wah.
and then back down.
Okay, great. Keep
I know.
on keeping on.
So I'm just not sleeping, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, who needs to
It is-
sleep?
who needs-
Do you take nights always, or do you and Joe? Oh, you trade
No.
off.
Well, while we were on both like parental
Right.
leave, we traded off. When he went back to work and I was still on my like
Yes.
maternity leave, quote unquote, I did nights. Now that we're both back at work, we basically look Sunday night at the week ahead and be like, who has really
Love
important
that.
things the next day?
Yes.
So like typically because we're recording, he would have done last night, but
Yes.
because I know he has the boys for 3 days, so that's kind of how we assess.
Uh-huh.
But he he believes he's cursed. Whichever monitor he has, the kid has a shitty night.
Oh, you.
I still have a monitor for our toddler. I know.
No. That's okay.
Okay.
But you each take a different kid.
Yeah. Because typically our toddler sleeps through the night. It's rare that he doesn't.
Right. So usually that person's
He's
off
a
for the
great
night.
sleeper. He's usually 7 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
God's gift to this earth.
Yeah.
Not normal.
Yeah. He's two and a half. Yeah. My is he still in a crib?
Oh God, yeah. I'm crib till college.
Crib till college.
I have
these people who are like, oh,
no interest.
They're two, so I got to move them to a bed. I'm
Fuck
like,
no.
That's a first, like a third. I think the first time parents, so many think like, okay, developmentally, it's time to put my kid in a crib. Mattis Hodgen, my 5-year-old, was in a crib until he was 4 and a half.
I plan on 4.
He was a grown ass man. Yeah. He had steps because he had to pee in the middle of the night.
Was in a mini crib.
Oh yeah, love this.
Until we moved.
Yeah.
To the point where I asked the doctor because he's like kind of on the shorter end. I was like, did I stunt his growth? Did I do this? Like, is this my fault? And he was like, absolutely not. We put him in a big crib. You better believe he's tucked up.
That's a solid first time mom question.
Oh, solid.
Did I stunt his growth?
And then I was
putting
like,
him in a crib where he still has plenty
do
of
I
room.
not give him enough milk? He is like shoved in the corner. I'm like, you still could be in a mini crib because you don't care.
Oh, 100%.
He sleeps curled up like a fox.
Yeah.
Like a fox. I say that about our dog. The other thing that I love about the content you put out there that we want to plug you, but B, I struggle with so much is your what to cook when you don't feel like cooking because I used to love food.
Yeah.
Love it.
Freckled Foodie, baby.
Yeah. Remember? R.I.P.
Yeah.
Used to love cooking, etc. Once I became a mom, it is literally the last thing on my mind. Like I used to something I worked in therapy deeply because of more this was like rooted in orthorexia and perfectionism, but like every meal had to be perfect.
Oh,
perfect.
And by perfect do you mean looking or like the perfect portion of starch and vegetable and
like just like a complete quote unquote meal.
Okay.
I think it was because I was working in the corporate world, so like my breakfast and my lunch were sat eating at a desk so like rushed.
Yes.
That dinner I wanted like I wanted the thing. I wanted it to be great and like a real meal. Like I could never have a bowl of cereal for dinner. Now, we were coming home from a birthday party on Saturday night. It's 6:45 in the car.
What'd you prepare?
And Joe goes, "What are your thoughts on dinner?" And because there was like just like bowling alley pizza, so the kids ate it.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What are your thoughts on dinner?" I'm like, "Well, at this point, probably just a bowl of cereal." He's like, "It's 6:45." You act like we're coming home from a club at 1 a.m. What do you mean at this point?
Like, this is when people start to cook dinner.
Yeah. I'm like, a bowl of cereal? He's like, Cam, we're ordering food. Yeah, so, of course, we ordered Shake Shack. But I just now don't even care. Like, food, never thought in a million years I'd say this. If you could offer me a pill that would be my complete nutritional
oh my God, so funny.
servings or whatever I needed to survive to the next pill, take it in a heartbeat.
Our mutual friend, Natalie Morris, says that all the time. She's like, I literally do not care. I just need calories. She's like, if I could eat a bar that was this big and that had 2,000 calories in it and I could eat it once a day, like, I would be done.
And I never thought
because like you love food. It
was
was your passion.
Be like that.
You started a whole business
but
around
now, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think when you become a mother, you have so many decisions to make. There's like some meme about like that mothers make like 80,000 decisions a day or something absurd, that dinner becomes one more thing. And we also get so exhausted of making decisions for everyone else because it's not just ourselves.
But what am I feeding the kids?
It's everyone. And like all of a sudden, it's like I didn't sign up to feed this family for the rest of my life. And
I feel like all I do is grocery shop and we never have groceries.
Yeah. So What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking is the name of my newsletter and soon to be cookbook, and it was founded on this exact principle. I started it during COVID when everyone was so fucking sick of cooking because you had to cook every single meal. So on my Instagram, and the way that I started really growing, thanks to you giving me advice, was that I would post like question boxes and be like, I know none of you feel like cooking, but like tell me what's in the pantry and I'll come up with a meal for you. So you who feel like you have nothing in your pantry would write me and be like, I have capers, spaghetti, and butter. And I'd be like, okay, you probably also have chicken or something, or, a pork cutlet or something in the freezer. Grab that out and we're going to make like veal scallopini. And I was like, it sounds fancy, but here's how you do it. And I would like lay it out in one slide. And that's how I started to like really quickly grow. And I also would give substitutions for everything. So that's still a huge part of what to cook when you don't feel like cooking. Every single ingredient has a substitution, and it kind of makes
so hard for you.
It's really hard. It's there's a reason it's a paid newsletter. Like each newsletter takes like 20 hours to write. Like it's a full ass time job to come up, because you also have to like kind of test these different things.
Right.
Like if I'm going to tell you that you can swap in, olive oil for butter in this one step, like I have to test it, make sure the butter doesn't burn. Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And I think the substitution thing is like it's a good like teach a man to fish, don't just give him the fish thing, because if you follow a recipe, you don't like learn how to cook. You're like you're following instructions, you're following like drill sergeant orders
with the GPS on.
But if you're driving with the GPS home, God, that's such a good example. Like,
well, I moved to a new area,
and you never knew.
Better believe I still don't know how to get to my sister's house 15 minutes away. Do it all the time.
It's insane.
I put the GPS on.
I used the GPS to go to my OBGYN for like the first 2 babies. I was like, I've done this 50 times.
I did too.
What is that
not
matter
No,
with
but
me?
Joe will sometimes get in the car and be like, watch this. I'm not going to use the GPS.
We do that too. We brag.
And I'm like, I wouldn't know how to do this.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, but it's important for me to learn. I'm like, oh, okay.
No, it is. It's weird.
It's
weird. So yeah, it kind of gives them like a roadmap, and you can basically cook any one of my recipes. They come every single Sunday. It's a newsletter subscription, so it's like $50 a year to be a subscriber, and you can make basically any like the thing that people get like the biggest thrill out of with what to cook is that they're like, I can make this, like I don't have to go grocery shopping, because I'm like, if you don't have romaine, use this. If you don't have any lettuce, like don't do the salad and instead make it a rice bowl. And I like give all these swaps and riffs and substitutions, and that I think is the reason for its popularity.
So what was your relationship like with food for your life, and like what led you to culinary school?
My mom worked full time, and she was an incredible, what I just explained. She would come home, there would be absolutely nothing in the pantry. My dad also worked full time, and so she would come home and she'd be like, okay, we've got a can of tuna and noodles, and she would like throw together some bizarrely random pasta that she like made taste delicious. She was just a great Southern cook. She has type 1 diabetes, so it was always like rather, healthy leaning. She was just a great cook who taught us from a very young age, like, you can make anything work. Like, she hated going to the grocery store. Like, she had a long day at work. She had 3 kids at home. Like, she did not want to go grocery shopping. So we always had these like random like Depression era skimped together meals. And she taught us how to cook. Like, because she worked full time, it had to be like one of our chores kind of to help her. I didn't go to culinary school.
Why did I think you did?
Because people assume that I did. Because
wait, I was like positive you did, and I was so impressed.
Yeah, no. So I wanted to, for sure, mostly because of the like clout it gives you.
Right.
So after college, I moved to New York. I worked in advertising, and most of my clients were like food and bev clients. My favorite client was Don Julio Tequila, and I was like 21 years old. George was like in a war at this point, so I moved here instead of moving to be with him. There were also lots of breakups. It's a good, juicy love story.
Always.
You've had lots
yes.
of them. Yeah. So I moved to New York, worked in advertising, Don Julio Tequila. And basically my job was to like do all these like food and Don Julio Tequila pairings. We would do like pairing dinners. Lil Jon was our brand ambassador.
Amazing.
So I literally spent many months of my 20s like going to different clubs around America. I swear to God, just so that I could take like BlackBerry phone pictures and tweet them from the Don Julio Tequila. This is like the early days of social media, and I was the Don Julio Tequila social media manager. I'm like wearing like
have you partnered
this
with
outfit.
them now?
Have I what?
You should partner with them now. Talk about a comeback.
I know. Actually, the brand manager follows me and is always like very supportive, and I'm sort of like,
why don't you message them and be like, this is a great story.
Thank you, because I'm an idiot.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. So yeah, I did that. I loved working in food. Cut. Yeah, I'll send you finder's fee. I did that, and then when we moved, I got married to George. We moved to San Diego, and he was like, you don't like advertising. Like, figure out a way to work in food. I didn't want to work in restaurants because they're hell. If you've ever seen the show Bear, that's what it's like there. That just like wasn't the life for me. Like high stress, people being mean, no thank you. So I started a catering company, like literally having no idea.
That's what I thought. Okay. I knew this.
I started this catering company, having no idea how to professionally prepare food, portion, anything. And I just like fully faked it till I made it, until I had like a very successful catering company. And then that kind of devolved into food media, getting asked to do recipe development for like magazines and then brands, and then it.
When did you stop the catering company? Was it COVID or
the
before?
catering company was because that was in San Diego where George was based. He was in the Navy, so he was based there. And then we moved up to Palo Alto because he went to business school. My marriage has very much been following my husband around wherever he needs to go for his job, which as like an independent woman and feminist used to like kill me. And then I finally realized that if I just didn't let it kill me and like gave into the fact that I can do my job from anywhere, we would be much happier. And so now we are. But that's
also like he was in the Navy.
He was in the Navy,
yeah,
but then it was like he was in the Navy, yes. But then it was like, okay, he wants to go to Stanford Business School, so we're moving there. He needs to start a business, so we're moving to Carmel. And I really wanted to move to San Francisco, and he needed to move to Carmel to start this business. So we moved all over. I worked in restaurant consulting in San Francisco at a brand that does like develops all the menus for like Panera, Starbucks, like really big brands. So I worked in the test kitchen there, and that's where I got really good at developing recipes, like writing recipes, scaling recipes. I think when you go on the internet, there's so many recipes.
So many. So
it's like, why would I pay $50 a year for recipes? Like I can Google and find any recipe that I want. My recipes are like really well vetted and tested, and they're written as if I was standing in the kitchen with you, a tired new mom. And I'm like, yes, I know there's still going to be liquid on top at this step. Don't worry, you're doing the right thing. Keep stirring until it goes away. Or if there's not still liquid on top at this step, add a little splash of water to like to loosen it up.
Right.
Like I very much talk you through like the different scenarios and what could happen, and I think that's why it's very popular with people like you who are so fucking sick of cooking because
I'm so sick of it.
They have so many other things going on.
Yeah. For a tangible thing for people to take away from this in the what to cook when you don't feel like cooking.
Yes.
What is one of your go-to, you're in your kitchen, you're exhausted because you're also a busy mom of 3 and you're like, what do I even have? What are those like rotation meals?
Okay. The number one is not from What to Cook, and it's literally the best thing. It's foolproof. We all love it. In a steamer basket, so inch of water on the bottom of the pot, steamer basket on top, frozen dumplings on half of the basket, broccoli florets. They can be frozen broccoli. They can be fresh broccoli. On the other half, steam it for like 6 minutes. There's dinner. While it's steaming, you make a peanut sauce, which if your kids like peanut butter, they will crush this. And it's just peanut butter, soy sauce, a little bit of honey, and a tiny bit of sriracha. Don't accidentally do too much or you will have to make it over again for your greedy, for your picky little monsters. But the sriracha doesn't make it spicy, just like gives it the flavor. Oh, a little rice vinegar.
Okay.
Stir it together. Peanut sauce. They each get their own bowl, so they feel very special dipping it. George and I, it's delicious. Like you get the best frozen dumplings, the kind you love.
Yeah.
And that is a literal 10-minute meal.
It's a lazy effing dinner.
That is a lazy dinner. Yeah, you do lazy effing dinners. So that's a great one. That's like my go-to that has nothing to do with mine. From What to Cook, I have this 10-minute peanut nudes meal that's like ramen noodles or spaghetti or literally whatever. Like I've seen people do it with rotini, which, you know, ethnogeographically makes zero sense, but like we're not in it for the authenticity on a tired night. And then you make a similar peanut sauce to that. While the pasta is cooking, you add either edamame, broccoli, whatever you've got, the random like veggie medley,
the corn, carrot,
green bean, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're just like trying to get a vegetable in there, and then you toss it all in a peanut sauce, and you're done. And that's it. I also have this it's called Healthy-ish Bolognese, and it's turkey and cauliflower rice. So it's like pound of turkey, pound of cauliflower rice, and you cook it all together, and you literally can't tell the cauliflower's in there. So if you have kids who are having a hard time getting vegetables in them, like I don't want to eat a lot of these like frozen or hidden veggie meals that people tout on the internet, but this is like, I'm like, great. I literally can't taste it. Like this is a delicious bolognese that just happens to have a pound of cauliflower.
Well, when I make my meat sauce, I always do a mushroom and pepper in there. Mushrooms and a bell pepper and cut up. Loves my toddler. I mean, my toddler will pretty much eat anything I put in front of him, which I know is not common. Yeah. Like the first time around, I think I was like, oh my God, this is because we did baby led weaning.
Oh,
I mean, no, it's just he happens to enjoy food and different flavors. Do I think baby led weaning helped? Yes. But was it the reason?
Yes.
No. But I, like last night, he's weird. Like one night he'll love, this is actually so fucked up. My mom makes a Violasabuco that,
Let's go.
like, growing up, we had 4 meals on rotation. It was a Violasabuco.
So smart. That was the thing.
Literally 4 meals on rotation.
We need to get back to that.
It was a slow cooker Violasabuco.
Yeah.
It was her spaghetti and pork sausage meat sauce.
Yes.
A brisket and Lay's riffle potato chips. Like, she's gonna hate me
Like
for
on the
this.
side.
Yeah, I don't know. We used to eat them together. It was a weird
Sure.
thing.
Yeah.
And then
Whatever works.
this chicken in like a dish with those little pearl onions, rice, and like a almost like a mushroom cream sauce type thing.
So chicken goes down and she's just smothering.
I think so.
Baking.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's going to be like,
it just-
that's not how
at
it's
all.
made, Cameron.
Yeah. Anyway, when I delivered 3 months ago,
Yeah.
she dropped off like 4 servings of Violasabuco in Tupperware to freeze.
So nice.
We defrosted one night.
gift.
My toddler has never pounded a meal like this in his life. And lately he's been like, I don't like this. I don't like this.
Yeah.
And when I put his favorite thing in front of him, and I'm like,
Yes.
you haven't even tried it. And I know you like this.
Oh, it kills me.
And so I'm like, you do like this. And he goes, oh, I go, it's your favorite meal. Because it is. It was like chili is one of his favorite meals. And he goes, oh, is it veal? And I go, yeah. And he goes, I love veal. And eats the whole thing. And I was like, Joe, I'm
Is it
up
veal?
that I'm teaching him. Oh, yeah, this is a baby
Is
cow.
it veal? It's not mama
Literally,
cow,
he goes,
is it?
Is it veal? And I was like, yeah. And then he ate the entire thing. I was like, I feel really wrong, but you got to do what you got to do.
My husband hunts only very,
Yes.
ethically. We live in California. There are many things that need to be hunted because of overpopulation in California. The animals are as overpopulated as the humans in California. So he hunts, and whenever he goes hunting, the boys, my 5-year-old and 3-year-old, were like, you do what? And like he comes home with, 20 dead birds. And so like it's a whole thing. So we had to kind of create a narrative for them
Right.
of why it's okay to hunt. And how sometimes you just fully make up a story to your kid and then you have to continue with that story.
I mean, yes.
For instance, there are bugs that will eat your kid's teeth if they don't brush their teeth. Oh, my son will be like, I feel a sugar bug. And I'm like, you don't. You don't. But like we have to like immediately get his toothbrush. So along with the sugar bugs, George created this narrative that daddy animals have to be killed sometimes because they'll eat the mommy and the baby.
Oh my God.
Mhm. That's what he thought was a chill way to explain hunting to our children. And I didn't know about this fake story. And so I was like feeding the boys chicken one night and they were like, is this a mommy chicken or a daddy chicken? I was like, I don't know, probably a mommy. And they're like, what? But but we only eat daddies because the daddies eat the mommies and the babies. And I was like, what?
Where are we going?
I was like, George, if we make up like full ass narratives, we have to explain.
Well, no, but I've actually said, I talked about this with my mother-in-law. Like, we call steak, it's steak and it's beef chili, whatever. But the chicken thing, I've always wondered because he always asks when I put a plate in front of him, what do we have? And I have to explain to him what we have. Yes, every night. What do we have? And he goes, if he knows, he goes, I have. And he's so like, talk about routine obsessed. If I don't put his bib on, he goes, you forgot my bib. And then I put it on. And if I go to walk, Mom, you forgot my kiss. I have to kiss him on the cheek. Like he is. So
we create first children. It's insane.
Also Joe and I are very
right.
It's a mix of, this is all our doing.
Yeah, you guys are routine guys.
Without fail.
And that's his.
Yeah.
But I wonder if number 2 will get the same privilege.
He comes down every morning. His kid, like his toys are his toy chest. There are bags for each,
and he puts them in there?
Puts them in there. He's got his bags for his cars, for Lightning McQueen, for Tomato. He has this one box that his Toy Story puppets sleep in every night. He has another box for his Toy Story figurines. He has one bag for his Toy Story
books.
At
2.5. That is normal.
And he comes home, he's like, I have to wake up my Toy Story people. And if the other day, Ham puppet, finger puppet, wasn't in the box, and he goes, oh, Ham, are you so sad you didn't sleep with your friends? And I'm like, oh, my love, what have I created? What have I created?
Like, what have you done? But also,
incredible. But what have I done?
Yeah.
But I will say it's so helpful. Every toy has a place.
Yeah.
So he's so specific about what he wants. He'll be like, this morning I want to bring Puppet Jessie in the car to school.
Yes.
And I always know where it is.
Yes. Oh no, never. No toy in our home has any place. Like when you have, I think. You're gonna have the same thing. Your kids are gonna be
2.5 years, almost exactly.
They're 2.5 years apart. My first 2 are like 19 months apart. And it is just mayhem at all times because I think Mattis could be that guy because he's quite type A, my 5-year-old. He's like quite regimented and he he kind of has a place for everything, but he also has a 3-year-old little brother and a 1-year-old
just
little
ruins
brother
everything.
wrecking his life.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be like, Mommy, we need to put this on a very high shelf so that Callum cannot touch it. And
No,
I'm like,
I
perfect.
mean, he's like that
Perfect.
when his
Yeah.
cousin, Maddie's son, comes over and he's tearing up everything. He's just following him around being like, why are you touching that? Why are you touching that? What are you doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than a play date at your house.
Oh, the worst.
The worst. And like, how do you, like, when I'm like trying to get together with my friends, like, how do you say, no, but can we do it at your house?
I know.
Because I'm so sick of my kids not wanting to share any of their toys. But at your house, it's your kid who doesn't want
Right,
to share
and
their
then
toys.
you're
I
the
don't
asshole.
care.
I
And then
don't
you're
care.
the asshole. And I don't care. I don't care if your kid's mean to my kid, but I don't want my kid to be mean to your kid.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm so happy you came on here.
Oh.
This was such a fun, just to get to see you in person
I
was such a
know.
gift. Pimp yourself out. Where can people follow you?
Pimp myself out. Okay. I'm Caro Chambers on Instagram. My What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking newsletter is whattocook.substack.com.
Okay.
I really suck at TikTok. That's next, but so don't even follow me there. What else do I have going on?
Podcast.
Oh, I've got a podcast.
And your cookbook.
I've got a podcast that Cameron taught me about a pod swap.
No, you said, can we do a pod swap?
I
And go,
said it!
Yeah, and I said, oh my God, look at you knowing the lingo. And
I
you go,
did
is
say
that
it.
real?
Oh,
And
I did.
said,
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, let's do a pod swap. Okay, so we're doing a pod swap, and my podcast is called So Into That, and I talk to people about what we're so into, and then we just kind of chat it out. And
Your cookbook's coming out early
my
August.
cookbook is coming out. What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking cookbook is coming out in early August, and I'll make Cameron pimp it out. So don't worry, you won't miss it.
You will not miss it. I love you. Thank you for
Look at
coming
me,
on
I
here.
called you Cameron.
I know.
I love
You're
you, Cammy.
growing. I love you.